have interest in becoming sponsor to this program, and we will promote your businesses right here on our platform. So, like I said, no time. So we now cross over to the Kapao team to continue the course. You can find us live on Facebook and YouTube as we you just dial Blaze Online and you get us live on Facebook and YouTube. So that gets the Kapao team. So welcome back.
Thank you ever so much, Arch. So the integrity Kapau Secure Liberia, like I said, we are here for good and we are here to stay. So we understand such time within Liberia. That's the time criminal move at night. So that's the reason whenever I reach 2 3, we lower the music and see how best we can pay attention to our phone. So we go to the line and pick this person from this end. Good morning.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, Isaiah. Good morning. Your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, from Pento. This is Samuel One Morris.
Yeah, Samuel. Give us security update.
Okay, well, Kapao.
Yeah,
You call it yeah, well, Kapao. You call it a number, owner go, no sabo, now go orange.
yeah. So just I will announce my orange. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you ever so much. Let's continue to keep the watch.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay, so we take this person from the Lone Star line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, welcome. Your name and where you join us from?
This is Sophia. I'm speaking from Louisiana.
OPS, long time. Welcome, OPS.
Yeah, man, my place is man. For long, nice
Yeah,
to us.
yeah. Yeah, OPS, give us security update there in Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana is still you try to call the government, but you know the feet in the current system trying to get her down. Listening to the news, but the current system giving her down, so they
Mm.
come up. I think he left me on charge.
Yeah, so quickly, just tell how Louisiana this morning.
Louisiana is the whole Louisiana is okay
Mm.
this morning. And it over now with fire on your 21. How do you start this up?
Rogers copy.
Uh,
So color this morning and you will be live on the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia 0777 0907 or better still you can call our Lone Star line 0887 111 and you will be live on the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. So let's buttress the effort of the Liberia National Police. Let's buttress the effort of the Liberia Justice Enforcement Agency. Yeah, so let all work together. Yeah, to ensure that Mama Liberia get better. Because just imagine, the news that coming from GSA Road this morning. Too bad for our country. The news that coming from the Mount Barkley end. Too bad for Liberia. This is not the Liberia we want. This is not the Liberia we want. Let's come together. Let's see how best we can unite. Yeah, be your brother keeper. Be your brother keeper at night. Just like what I was saying. Okay, let's take this person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, your name and where you join us from?
My name is Agent G. I'm calling from Yodo Town. They say, nah,
Yeah,
take
let's
on.
give us security update.
My area is cool.
All right, let's continue to keep the
Yeah,
watch. Go
I
ahead.
want to know something. Please listen to me. I want to know something.
Go ahead.
Is the capacity stability different from,
You say?
huh?
What you say? Go ahead. I don't get you.
Is the you said capacity stability. Is that what you said?
Yeah, integrity Kapau Secure Liberia.
Okay, integrity capacity. Is it different from secure Liberia
Yeah.
capacity? That will figure even.
Yeah, of course.
Ah,
All right.
okay.
Okay, thank you ever so much. So call us this morning 0777 907 This person. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Your name and where you join us from.
I'm Adapi Kaliman calling from Chibisu Factory.
How chicken so factory this morning?
Chibisu Factory is very calm.
Okay.
But just what you were saying, we
Mhm.
cannot depend on government because when we depend on government, they have broken faith. We need to pray for one another and pray for our nation. That's all we need because we have no security. We need God our security.
All right. Thank you ever so much,
Thank you
Mama.
very much.
All right. Thank you ever so much. Keep your calls coming. 077-907-907, 077-907-907. Better still, you can call the Lone Star line 0887-111-107. Let's hear from you this morning. And just imagine that terrible, terrible things that happen in the GSA rule. Seriously, there's not the Liberia we want. That's the reason I'm calling on community leaders. Let's come together. Let's see how best we can form our team. Let's form our team. Let's form our watch team. Let's work along with the Liberia National Police. Let's work along with the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. Once we get once you guys notice that ghetto in the community, all you need to do, inform the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. A better state, you can inform we the integrity. Yeah, just inform us. Just inform us about the situation. Those of you, community chairman, you want to form your watch team, work along with the Liberian National Police. Even if you are up during the night, the guys that are patrolling the Liberian National Police, they will also be coming in. So we all need to do this. The motorcyclists, let's see how best we can adhere to the Liberian National Police mandate. Once it's after 10, we shouldn't plow the street. Just imagine OPS Otis. Just hear that news that was coming from the Mount Barclay area. Too terrible this morning. Just because of your own bike. Someone cutting off your lip. Another incident there in the GSA road. Cutting off your lip for your bike. So you need to stay off the street. You need to stay off the street this time. That's the time criminal move around. That's the time criminal move around. Like I always say, it's because of you guys we are here. It's because of you guys, the integrated Kapau Secure Liberia agent, they are around. So all you need to do, see how best we can all work together. Any suspicious activities within your community, don't hesitate. Just call. Call our number. Call our number. Let's see how best we can send the relevant authority. That's the reason. We pay more attention to the film line than the music. Whenever such time reach, we lower the music, we announce our number. Because we don't want to see this thing happening in Liberia. Yeah. We don't want to see it. You lock your door, you lock your window. You guys in the community, you can use your strategy. You can take your whistle, just blow your whistle. You can take your pot up, just knock your pot up together. Yeah, you can do this. So call us on 0777-907-907. This person from Lawan. Good morning.
Good morning, one more.
Yeah, welcome
This is
back.
Medical. James calling from Little Town.
Yeah,
Thank God.
let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, what you are doing is to keep advising the motorcyclists, the motorbike rider. Let me keep on the street after 10.
Mhm.
If right down the police said no go zone, they are telling them to stay off the street until the issue is settled. Our police is infected with a lot of criminal too.
Chief. We're not going that route. We're not going that route. You can just also help to question the motorcyclists.
Yeah, let the motorcyclists stay off the street. Let them go by the police directive.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you ever so much. Call us on 0777-907-907, 0777-907-907. 0887 111 Call us this morning and give us security update from your end. Call us this morning and tell us exactly what's the situation in your community. So quickly, I'd like to recognize some. Yeah, let me just recognize some official of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Yeah, some officials of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. You know, these people are people that are sacrificing for this nation. Yeah, especially when it comes to fighting crime within the country. So whenever we on the radio, we always do it necessary to see how best we can recognize them. Like quickly, we will recognize the guys from the Atherton area, Napoleon Hill. Like I said, Napoleon Hill is our commander there in Atherton. Roslyn Obey. Roslyn Obey is the chair lady of the that's in Atherton. Yeah, she's the chair lady. Sekou Vani. Sekou Vani is an agent. I like to say Jerome Wright. Good morning to Jerome's right. He also an agent. Christy Andrew is an agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Sarah K. Smo, agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Diney P. Scott, he also an agent. Zulu T. Ben, he's an agent. So quickly we go Benter, our Benter duty. Eric T. Harris. Eric T. Harris is doing extremely well. Yeah, you hear the guy, the Ben reporting from the Bento Fenia area. James P. Ziaman, he also an agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Junior Dennis, he's an agent. George D. King, he's the OPS there in Bento. Thomas Morris, Stewie Lamy, T. Abbott Lamy, that's T. Abbott Kazulu, he's an agent. So we quickly go Louisiana. Louisiana, we have Heron K. Rabbit. Yeah, Heron K. Rabbit. He's the acting security director of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. I also like to recognize our security advisor, Mr. George Washington. He also there in the Louisiana area. And I'd like to say good morning to Achiti Yiman. Achiti Yiman is an agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Tama Bikane, he's the OPS of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Moses Kekula, he's an agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. Patrick D. Jones is also an agent of the Integrity Kapau Circuit Liberia. And you know, too bad time flies, so we have to get away for another program. So I'd like to say thank ever so much. My name is Isaiah Smakedumwe. Or better still, just call me the nation's all-time Smacket. It's over to you, Arch.
Before independence. And let's say thanks to Isaiah for the continuation of the call segment. This is Wake Up Call if you just joining in. We will take this break, this motivational word, and be right back from the man Sekou Kambo. You know, I love young.
Hello, I'm Sekou K. Kambo, a patriot of the motherland, Mama Liberia. I will be speaking to the consciousness of my fellow youths on the topic patriotism. The progress of our nation rests upon the shoulders of every youth. What is your intention to this nation? Are you willing to serve the motherland with integrity and dignity? Or are you interested in inflating the maximum exploitation for one own selfish gain? Look, fellow youths, there should be no boundaries in actualizing the highest law for our country once we are called to service. The biggest problem facing our country is not the lack of good laws. It is not the lack of resources, not the lack of educated men or women, but the lack of law for country. I want you to know this, fellow compatriots. Where there is no love, there is lack of progress. The motherland depends not on herself, but you and I to make it a better place for generations to come. Everyone has a role in this process, ranging from the common man to the nobleman. It is time we examine ourselves. It is time we put our country first above everything else. Other nations are moving forward, but as one of the oldest independent nations in Africa, where is our achievement? We help in the elaboration process of other nations. These nations are moving forward, while our nation is stagnated from all expressions of reality. Or because patriotism has been neglected at the highest goal in our society. Liberia is a blessed nation, given to us by God. But we will not realize these blessings if we do not cherish this nation. Fellow youth, it is time to change the course of history. You have the power, and that power is your choice. To choose if you will be loyal to this country through your services. Never give up on the motherland. I believe Liberia will someday rise above nations. The only road to this revelation is love. Love is all Liberia needs from us, and it will start to flourish in progress. Long live the motherland.
Need love is what Liberia needs. Love is the only thing that can make Liberia to flourish, to grow. Why? Because if you have love for your country, if you have love for your country, indeed, you will do all you can do in your possible way to make sure that this nation grow. You will make sure that you do everything in your mind so that Liberia can be a better place. So, like we said yesterday, on yesterday's edition of the program, we said we will be playing host to few students from across the world, from Liberia, that are going to school. Our intent is to know how they are doing, what is their well-being, and let's know how has life been like with them since they left Liberia for schooling purpose. Uh, how challenging it is, and how are they cope with the situation, and what is the system there as compared to Liberia. These questions we need to ask those students, and we are still reaching out so that they can be in studio live. So when they are here, we begin with them. But before we just continue, there is this I want you to. So there are a certain group of lawmakers who petitioned the Supreme Court yesterday, uh, praying a writ of mandamus against the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, alleging that the ministry has failed to meet its obligation. So the petitioner include Representative Abu Kamara, Marvin Cole, and others. So they seek judicial intervention to enforce compliance. In response, the Associate Justice, Colin D. Clinton Johnson, has summoned the Finance Minister Augustine Kwegafuan and the Comptroller Emmanuel Kopo, that's Kopi, to appear before the court by the 10th of March 2025. So the legal challenge comes after the recent the tension at the legislature, where you know others are on the other side, others are on the other side. But this is their rate. Uh, let me read their rate. Let me read their rate. Representative Abu Melv, Representative Abu Kamara, Melvin Cole, Frank Safoko, Edwin Papi Flomo, Eugene Collins, Alex Na, and Zinanoma of the 55th legislature. Of the 55th legislature of the city of Monrovia, Liberia, petitioners versus Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, uh, represented by Honorable Augustine Kwehe Gafuan and Comptroller Emmanuel, copy of the 55th legislation, all those under their control. Also of the city of Monrovia, Moserado County, Republic of Liberia, respondent. Republic of Liberia to uh, being General Amos B. Casey Dixon Sr., Marshal Supreme Court of Liberia, or his deputy, Monrovia, uh, his deputy, Monrovia, and greeting. You are hereby commanded to notify the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, represented by Honorable Augustine Kwehe and Mr. Emmanuel Kopi, Comptroller of the 55th Legislature, and all those under their control. Also of the city of Monrovia, Moserado County, Republic of Liberia, respondents, represent, let me get this, respondents in the above entitled case of action to appear by filling their returns before or under Kennedy Collins, that's Clinton Johnson, Associate Justice of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia, present in chambers as a Supreme Court room, Temple of Justice, on or before the 10th day of March AD 2025 at the hour of 9 o'clock a.m. to showcase why the petitioners' petitions are prayed for should not be granted. You are further commanded to instruct the respondents being to their returns to the writ in their office of the clerk of the honorable court on or before the said 10th day of March AD 2025, and to read to them the original and leave a copy of the petition for a writ of mandamus with the respondent, and as to when and how you shall have served this writ, you will make known by filling your official return, your official returns here too on the back of the original copy of this writ in the office of the clerk of the honorable court on or before the said 10th of March AD 2025. And for so and for so doing, they shall constitute your legal and sufficient authority given under my hand and sealed of the Republic of Liberia Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia this 27th day of February AD 2025. So this is the rate the guys have filed, the rate of Madamas. So those lawmakers are in demand of their benefits because they've been suspended. So by their colleagues, they were suspended, and they are saying no, they cannot recognize the leadership of Rachel Kuhn. So even if they are suspended, they cannot accept to recognize the authority of Rachel Kuhn as Speaker of the 55th House of Legislature. And so, in so doing, you have this Holu Badu continue to increase at the Capitol building, where they are not taking paid, and they are asking the Supreme Court to inquire from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and the Comptroller of the House of Representatives as to why they are not paying them and as to why they are not getting their just benefit as lawmakers. And this is serious. This is serious. Look, when this issue started, we saw these things coming and we said, look, what is happening at the level of the national legislature in the House of Representatives is not good for our country. It's not good for our democracy. We said it. What was happening at the lower house is not good for Liberia's democracy. Now, similar precedent is about to be set at the Liberian Senate. We said it before that people were mobilizing signatures to remove Yombli Kanga Lawrence. But let's take this break to check on our students. We will be right back. Let's get this from our sponsors, the Sinan Group, and we'll be right back.
You're so beautiful.
Hey, have you heard of Sinan Group Limited? Well, Sinan Group Limited is a reliable and efficient water drilling expert. Sinan Group Limited specializes in deep borehole drilling, pump installations, and water system maintenance to ensure you have access to clean and sustainable water anytime, anywhere. Services we offer include water well drilling and installation, site assessment and planning, detailed evaluation of potential drilling site. We carry out installation of well casings to prevent contamination, gravel packing to stabilize the well, and proper sealing to maintain water quality. We also conduct pump tests and other evaluations to determine the capacity and sustainability of the water source. We recommend and install appropriate pump systems such as submersible or jet pumps. We connect the pump to the overall water supply network, including storage and distribution systems. We also do scheduled maintenance and prompt repairs to ensure optimal performance and longevity of the pump system. We carry on inspection and evaluation of older or underperforming wells to identify issues such as casing damage.
That's not all. At the Sinan Group Limited, we do systematic collection of water samples from various points in the supply system, ensures compliance with health standards, and confirms portability. We provide expert guidance on water supply system design, including optimal well placement, pump sizing, and integration with local infrastructure. The Sinan Group Limited manages the full life cycle of water projects, from initial assessment and design to execution and post-installation support, ensuring projects are delivered on time and within the budget. With our cutting-edge technology, we utilize the most advanced drilling equipment. The Sinan Group Limited trusted clients include UC, US Embassy, GRZ, and many more. Contact us today at our regional office near Zone 3 Police Station, Tottenham Boulevard, Congo Town, Liberia, or call us 0777 393 950 or 0888 701 391 or email us at info@sinanggroupltd.com. Visit our website www.sinanggroupltd.com.
Oh my way, oh my way. I like I see they go. Baby, I like I see they go.
So the Sinan Group is our sponsor. Like I said, you can be a sponsor to this program. And so, like we told you, right? The Senate were planning this similar action, and the information still remain the same, that the Senate is having issue with the Senate protein. In fact, and they want to remove the Senate protein. Look, this will not be good for our democracy. Out of 30 senators, we are told and reliably informed that 19 senators have gotten their signatures to remove the Senate protein. And the lawmakers the other time we also told you that they are planning to impeach the Chief Justice, even though she had few times. So these things will continue to happen in our country if the leaders you have, those people you elected as representatives, as senators, when they are not conscious minded, they are not focusing on what they're supposed to be doing as per their functions. There are concession agreements here that citizens are not benefiting from. They should be revisiting those concession agreements, those MDAs, ratifying them, making sure that it is in the interest of the Liberian people. They are not focusing on that. Citizens are dying at various concession sites due to the lack of poor maintenance of poor or safety measures being put in place. Lawmakers, they are not prevailing, they are not using their oversight responsibility to reveal on those concession companies for the safety of Liberians. Liberians are being marginalized at various concession areas, but the lawmakers are not using their oversight responsibility to prevail on on concessionaires to make sure that Liberians and foreigners and aliens are paid the same salaries, benefits. They are not doing that. Your lawmakers are here. The people you elected, they are your deputies. You elected them. You provide a job for them. But the thing is that the people make it look like they are your bosses, that you are working for them because they always give you crumbs. You always ask them for crumbs when they come after election. After all, they make national budget that turns in their favor. Why are you there struggling? But they don't care. We will say these things every day, no matter how people feel about it, because it's our country. It pains. It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot to see that your country, look, Liberia national budget. I'm not surprised that 2025, 2026, 2027, by 2027 or 8, before this year end, I'm too convinced that the national budget will raise up to 1 billion. Because 800,000, 880,000 now, I'm too convinced that before this government comes to an end, the budget will increase to 1 billion. But the question is, having those lucrative budget, just putting the papers, the pen on the papers, the numbers on the papers, is the number impacting the country? You make budget and you have close to 20% of the budget going to just few people who wear clean clothes, go sit down, make noise whole day, and you give them nearly 20% of the national budget as their salaries, their benefits. The lawmakers use 2,000 gas slip every month. 2,000 gas slip every month. 2,000 gas slip each lawmaker every month. That's what they use every month as lawmakers, the gas slip. Even though they are being paid, they're still providing gas. $2,000. You understand? $2,000 gas slip. So annually, they will be using 2,472,000 annually. 173% just on gas slip. 2 million. Just on gas. I'm not talking about the scratch cards. I'm not talking about the other things, but gas, just gasoline. Just gasoline. 2,472,000 annually for gasoline. While UL is here, for example, is nearly breaking down. While The CB Doma Hospital is here, for example, in Maryland, in the southeast there, and there's no adequate budget for that. Go to the Buchanan Government Hospital. Go to the GFD in Tapetan, for example. Pregnant women are dying because of bad road connectivity. What are they doing? Elections is coming. Look, like I always say, those people you elected, they do not have the future for, they do not have any future plan for this nation. Everything they have is that next election, they plan for next election. I challenge, ask your lawmaker, what is your 10 years plan? What is your 3 years plan? They will not tell you anything substantive. All they will say, if you ask them, "Oh, no, next election, how doing it?" They will bring all of the tactics, all of the strategies they will use to win elections. But like we said today, we don't want to talk politics. We don't talk education. So we will take this break and make sure now that our students are here and we begin our discussion. Let's take this break and be right back.
Hello, I'm Sekou K. Kamo, a patriot of the motherland, Mama Liberia. I will be speaking to the consciousness of my fellow youths on the topic patriotism. The progress of our nation rests upon the shoulders of every youth. What is your intention to this nation? Are you willing to serve the motherland with integrity and dignity? Or are you interested in inflating the maximum exploitation for one own selfish gain? Look, fellow youths, there should be no boundaries in actualizing the highest law for our country once we are called to service. The biggest problem facing our country is not the lack of good laws. It is not the lack of resources, not the lack of educated men or women, but the lack of law for country. I want you to know this, fellow compatriots. Where there is no love, there is lack of progress. The motherland depends not on herself, but you and I to make it a better place for generations to come. Everyone has a role in this process, ranging from the common man to the nobleman. It is time we examine ourselves. It is time we put our country first above everything else. All nations are moving forward, but as one of the oldest independent nations in Africa, where is our achievement? We help in the liberation process of other nations. These nations are moving forward, while our nation is stagnated from all expressions of reality. Or because patriotism has been neglected at the highest goal in our society. Liberia is a blessed nation, given to us by God. But we will not realize these blessings if we do not cherish this nation. Fellow youth, it is time to change the course of history. You have the power, and that power is your choice. To choose if you will be loyal to this country through your services. Never give up on the motherland. I believe Liberia will someday rise above nations. The only road to this revelation is love. Love is all Liberia needs from us, and it will start to flourish in progress. Hello, I'm Sekou K. Kamo, a patriot of the motherland, Mama Liberia. I will be speaking to the consciousness of my fellow youths on the topic patriotism. The progress of our nation rests upon the shoulders of every youth. What is your intention to this nation?
And I think it is.
Are you willing to serve the motherland with integrity and dignity?
Love is what Liberia needs right now. If Liberia must flourish, if Liberia must prosper, if Liberia must grow, love is all Liberia needs. So, folks, like I said, today is the weekend edition of the program Wake Up Call, and we will be having our students here. We intend having more than 3 students here this morning on the show, but we still managing to reach out to all of them. But we have Derek Doma with us already in studio, and there is currently residing in the United States. He's a Liberian. hails from Nimba. He will introduce himself properly to you. He's also schooling. So, like I said, our intent is to know how is life like outside of Liberia, outside of your comfort zone as a student. So that because there are other people who wanting to go to school outside of Liberia, they do not know the way forward. They are in fear as to when I leave Liberia, go to school outside, how would it be? My parents are not there. What if things are challenging? These things they want to know as well. So those that are already there will be showing the way forward, telling them how it is when you are outside of your country going to school, preferably maybe being sponsored by government or sponsored by yourself or family or on scholarship and other things. So Derek is here, and let's welcome Derek to the show. If you just tune in, this is Wake Up Call, and again, my name is Archie. Say Bobby in there. So let's see. D, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Achi Seboyene, and good morning to peace loving Liberians.
Okay. So, can you just properly introduce yourself to the audience? Though I've done, but it's good to hear from the house's mouth.
Okay, my name is Derek C. Tiawan Doma. I hail from Nema County. I attend the Ganda United Methodist, graduated from there, and I went to college halfway in Liberia. I went to Stars University up to sophomore 2 before I left Liberia when the opportunity came to come to the States.
Okay. So, you as a Liberian, how is the state? Let us know how is your life like in the state. Your personal life. How is the environment in terms of living condition as compared to when you were here in Liberia?
So, well, actually, to be honest, America is a country where every young man from every angle of the world dream to come to. And I won't lie to you, it has a lot of opportunities that help serious young people to get to where they want to be in life. But regardless of those opportunities, there are some challenges too that comes with it.
Okay.
That compared to other countries that young Liberians travel to acquire higher education, I can say America is different because of opportunity for students compared to other people that are outside there going to school.
So, so you went to America as a student, or you went for residential purpose?
Oh, for me, to be honest with Liberian people, I came to America not as a student.
Okay.
I came to America through my mom. But then when I came, I decided to go to school. And I've been in school for pretty close to 3 semesters now.
All right.
And while in school, I have seen other international students, some from Liberia, some from Kenya, some from Benin. For those people, they actually came as international students to study on a student visa.
Okay. So like you said, you spend pretty close to uh because
Three semesters.
some not, your librarian school, so some more two should be something the 4 semesters, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made 3 semester. The fourth one, I
Okay.
didn't go to school when I left.
Okay. So having spent 3 plus semester in the university here, and
Yeah.
now that you have also spent 3 semesters in the university outside of Liberia, you as a student grew up in Liberia, went to high school here, comparing the educational system of Liberia with that of where you are currently. How how is the difference? How do we compare them?
I know other people listening right now,
Mhm.
they will be like, there's no comparison. Yeah, it's true. I agree. As compared to the difference between the two countries, actually, there's no comparison because when I was in Liberia, I was doing IT with emphasis in system administration, to be precise, networking. Actually, I made 3 semesters in STEM.
Mm.
A student of computer doing computer. But every day I go on campus, I was never opportune one day to use a computer on campus for any school related work.
Even though you are a computer student.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here in America, a student to a computer. And sometimes if you find life very challenging, like you don't have resources like computer and other things to go to school, the school loan you a computer. But the only thing is not for you. After every semester, you got to report that computer back to the school because it's a kind of resources that every other student will probably need one way or the other along the way while they are pursuing education. But the education here is far different, more advanced, more relaxed compared to Liberia.
Okay. So is there any way we can compare the curriculum with that of ours? Like you doing IT. So when during your time here in Liberia, what are some programs? Is there
So,
the same program you learn here? You also learning, or are there any modifications? Are there differences in the curriculum?
so I'm right now a student of cybersecurity. I'm doing my associate in cybersecurity. When I was in Liberia doing system administration, when I entered the university, the first semester, I was taught something called an Info One Intro to Computer or whatever. The second semester, I started doing something related to coding. I was doing website development. And the third semester, I did something relating to operating system. At the same time, doing some general curriculum courses like French, like Geo, and other courses. But here, when I entered the college here, I did some required courses, some general courses, but they are courses that literally applies to life. For instance, when I entered the college, I did intro to communication.
Okay.
That intro to communication, it basically teaches you how to communicate, understand the dynamics of communication, the tactics, the techniques, listening skills, speaking skills, trying to read people, trying to analyze from people's point of view, trying to look at things from the speaker perspective, not just your perspective. Kind of open your mind to society, to life in general. I did college writing and critical reading. I didn't do French. French is a choice if you want to do it. It's not a required course. I did college algebra 1200 critical thinking. These are some of the required courses that I did here compared to Liberian where you got to do French, you got to do this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Liberian education system is bad.
No, I understand.
Everyone have their way of doing things, but probably sometimes there should be update or things like that. So when it comes to the computer, the first semester I did intro to cybersecurity. I did intro to networking, which was the introduction to networking I did here was the networking that a junior student instance will be doing.
It's what you did for your freshman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did how you call intro to IT, which was basically hardware, the one they call A plus in Liberia, where maybe a student will be telling you I'm doing A plus this semester or XYZ. Intro to IT was basically A plus, which I was supposed to do like my second semester sophomore instance.
But you did it
I
your
didn't
freshman.
hear my first semester. So those are some basic beginner difference between a student just entering college in Liberia and a student just entering college here. And what was like here, they push you straight to what you want to do in school or what you want to do. They get you focused on it instead of you go and do this, go and do that before you get to what you want to do.
Okay. As a student, because there are many students who are outside of Liberia, some of them on their own, they are not living with parents, some of them went for scholarship purpose. Unlike you, that live with parents and schooling. Let us know, is there challenges faced as students, as a student in the US, as compared to when you were in Liberia?
There are challenges everywhere as a student
Okay.
in every country you go to. But I want to focus on key challenges that some students that are not in the US or some students that are also in the US, excluding me, face.
Okay.
And one of those challenges would be economic challenge. For me, I can tell you my case is different.
Mhm.
I have a green card. So I'm eligible for something called student loan for Pell Grant.
Student loan. So before you just go to the challenges, how does
Yeah.
that work? The student loan. Because the reason is that some of these questions we ask them so that this, when people listening, some can recommend to the Liberian government, or maybe you can recommend that the Liberian students can also benefit from those ideas.
So this is how the student loan works. You will apply based on your income. You will be accepted or denied the student loan. If you make more money, you will be denied student loan.
Okay.
If your income meet the qualification criteria, you'll be given student loan to go to school. The student loan is the government pay your school fees, you go to school, you graduate from school. When you start work, you start paying the government money back
Wow.
little by little. But it's a whole topic for another day to discuss.
Okay.
So back to challenges students face. There are a lot of challenges students face, particularly if you come here as international student. One, you are not eligible for student loan. Two, you got to sponsor yourself through school here in America as an international student. Some people get lucky once in a while, get scholarship. But 75 to 80% of students, international students in America, they sponsor themselves. And to sponsor yourself in school in America actually is expensive.
As compared to Liberia?
For instance, a semester here in school would be like a full semester school fees in Liberia.
Okay.
Like I pay pretty close to like $4,000 per semester in school. Right? So for me, I'm using a Pell Grant right now that pays that money. That's a different thing. But imagine if I was international student, I gotta pay that money, and I'm not eligible to work outside of the school. The school gets something called student work, but you are just allowed to work like 20 or 30 hours per pay week. And they pay you like $15, 15 or 14, something around there. That money would not be enough to cover your school fees, your living expenses while going to school. An apartment here, the least, if you are lucky, you will pay would be like $900 per month for an apartment. Imagine you have nobody to stop with here in America. You got to pay for an apartment. You got to eat. You got to go to school and pay school fees. You need ride to go to school if you don't have a car. And all depends where you live to go to school. So roughly per semester, if you calculate, your budget will probably be around $15,000. And they literally run by semester, but then they have a semester called a summer semester. But the two basic semester here is fall and spring, which runs the same 4 months. Fall start August, it ends December. And spring starts January, it ends early May. So if you want to take some summer classes to speed up your education, you can do that. So imagine you are not a permanent resident, you are not eligible for student loan, for all these other privileges, maybe where you can work and go to school, and you have to pay from your pocket to go to school.
That means it's a whole lot expensive.
It's challenging. Then we look at some countries like India. We have friends there we talk to every day, like Sappho. Economic challenge is one of the major challenge Liberian students face all around the world. The second challenge would be the language barrier.
Okay.
Imagine I grew up in Liberia. I only know how to speak English, and I went to India, where sometimes instead of speaking Hindus or their way of talking, their accent is kind of different. They talk a little faster. I got to take time to process what they're saying. And terrain adaptation, a different environment, a strange land. I got no mom here, no dad. It takes you time to settle in. It takes you time to get to know the environment. And for country like India, even in America where they have student job on college campus to do, yet and still life becomes difficult for some students. Then imagine country like India where you got no student job to do. You got no family member in India, no uncle, no aunt, where you say some dating stuff after school, I will go see my uncle. You got nothing like that. How do you live to go to school?
That's a challenge.
Because for a student to be focused and achieve what they want, they need a relaxed and concentrated mind to acquire what they want. But if you come from school, your mind is focused on what will you eat today? How will you pay house rent? How will you get money to transport yourself to school the next day? You got to pay school fees. Then, worst of all, is the deception that comes with these things. There's an old saying that says, not everything that glitters is gold. Some people will be there trying to encourage young Liberians. Oh, you got to come to India to go to school. There's this, there's that. Or come to this country. A lot of these things, 90% is not real. There are challenges out there, serious challenges, that if you are not strong, it leads you astray and you do things that are not necessary. Because imagine living in a foreign country. Let's just take, for example, Liberia. You have lived Lofa all your life, all your family in Lofa. Then maybe you decide to leave Lofa to go to school in Sanikore.
Sanikole. Knowing that you don't know anyone there.
You ain't got mom in Sanikore. You ain't got dad in Sanikore. No uncle, no aunt. The only difference there is that is Liberia, the same culture. You people speak the same language, and it helps you a lot. And you are able to work. If you are opportune, you can work and do things and go to school. That's the difference there. But for places like India, you ain't got mom, you ain't got pa. There's no job for you to do to go to school. Let's say you left Liberia without a good financial support. You ain't got a permanent source of income. But because a friend say the scholarship, you pay 50%, they pay 50%, or you pay 25%, they pay 75%, you decide to go to school in India. And you don't have a permanent source of income. probably before you even left Liberia, the little plot of land your family had, they had to sell that land to somebody to generate money to transport you to India. You left Liberia, you saw the challenges already. You saw how things started becoming complicated already in Liberia. And then you saw it. You never realized to come back to your drawing table, to rethink your idea. Only because you are so obsessed with
Yeah.
traveling, with leaving Liberia. You just want to leave.
Sometimes some of these
So
things,
anyhow, you just got to go.
sometimes it's as a result of what they look at in the country, the system being put in place. Because somebody attending here, for example, feels that the system is not too okay, so they need to get advanced system to improve the education they need instead of just being in a one area where doing the same old things over and over. So sometimes it is the cause of these things. So now you, with all of what you have observed and you have learned to some extent outside of Liberia and knowing all of those challenges, what can you recommend, for example, that the educational to educational stakeholders here in our country in Liberia that you are from, so that a Liberian will not be too much anxious of leaving Liberia, going to India, for example, going to Rwanda, to Cyprus, so that they will feel secure in learning in their own environment.
So, I normally have a belief, a system of approach. And I usually tell people that for every problem, there is two sides of it. Like our former president Eden said, our education system was a mess before she left the presidency.
Mm.
Somehow I agree because sometimes you go to school, for instance, you are in applied science, you are studying some courses relating to applied science. For example, you are into maybe IT, or you are in the nursing field, you are in the medical field, doing something relating to physical, hands-on activities that you need to do, but you don't have the equipment to do these things. It becomes frustrating. Just reading and reading the theory aspect of it over and again and not doing the
Yeah.
practical aspect, sometimes it becomes challenge. So our government need to focus on the tertiary education, for example, improve laboratories, put policies in place for private institutions that are trying to help the government foster the educational agenda. It's good to do that, but at least there should be a criterion set and met to get these things done. Number one, facility. We are in the 21st century. There's no way you will go see one 4-bedroom house and you decide to make a school for students. Going to school and being educated comes with a lot of different things, actually. Sometimes you need a relaxed environment. That will give you that motivation to learn. Not some congested, like some of the institution in that particular Liberia,
Mhm.
higher institution for education, just in a kind of tight little place and call it school. And the worst case is they have been operating for years, over 20, 30 years. and they're still in the same spot. No advancement, no improvement. So we need to update our school system, particularly practical science, applied science, the STEM field. We need to update those areas of our school. And for the students, I agree. There are some facilities out there. There are some good education institutions out there. But still, you can still in Liberia and learn and become better. I know somebody will want to say why you never stay in Liberia. I had the opportunity to come to America, not even as an international student, but to come to America to stay. That's why I came.
So assuming
We
assuming you had the opportunity for schooling purpose as an international student, will you accept that back then?
Number one, I was in school in Liberia. Before I come to that question, you know what happened to some of those kids in India?
No.
If you speak to like 60 to 75% of them, some of them will tell you when they left Liberia at the time, they were sophomore one, sophomore two students in various universities in Liberia. And if they had stayed back then, by now they would have had their bachelor's degrees. Their classmates, their schoolmates that they left back in Liberia, a lot of those people are out of college now. And some of them have been gone for 3-4 years. They haven't still acquired bachelor's degree. So what is that? That is waste of time, resources, knowing for the world at times wait for no man. I was never moved by international scholarship because one thing I needed to be sure and fully assured that probably, for instance, they say they have a Chinese scholarship where when you are opportune to have one, you'll be getting stipend from the Chinese government. Why you in there? You are in China going to school. And sometimes it is true. The first semester you might be lucky. But then let's say you get to China on a scholarship and due to terrain adaptation, you are unable to meet the requirement to maintain the scholarship. And then you lose the scholarship. Maybe the requirement should be like 3 points. You are not able to make 3 points, and then you lose the scholarship. What happened to you? Hmm? So we need to start looking at things from a different perspective, from different angles. We need to start looking at things from a broader view, not just how we feel. We need to start asking ourselves why. What if? Before we engage into some of those actions of ours. It's good to travel, it's good to experience. But traveling through comfort comes with better experience. Not travel because you want to travel and you go out there, you get stranded, there's nothing for you to do. You are cut off in the middle of nowhere, and then you start doing things that are not necessary.
Okay. Okay. So one thing we also want to understand, because now we will be asking you a holistic question instead of individual, because some of those questions I would have asked people on scholarship or people residing on their own, taking their own responsibility, uh, would have been or cannot be asked for you. So some of those holistic questions, uh, what impact do you think the culture of environment has to play on international students when they leave their country to another land? What impact does the culture has to play in their education?
Based on your location, there are different ways the culture impacts you. Based on your location. Sometimes for places like India,
Mhm.
where English is not their major language, they speak Hindus. Their English is not fluent. You will somehow understand it, but it's kind of challenging. It will take you time to understand it. And secondly, their system, their way of teaching, their way of passing on knowledge will not be the same as the Liberian system, the Liberian curriculum, which might be challenging. For China, you probably, if you get to China, you probably have to do some beginner courses in the Chinese language to get you started.
Okay.
If you come into places like America, like the UK, like Rwanda, those are English speaking countries. So your adaptation might be faster and smoother compared to places like China, like India, and other countries.
Okay.
And probably, or when we look at culture again, we look at food.
Hmm.
I grew up in Liberia.
Yeah. So
Maybe
they can talk about
I'm
food.
from,
They can talk about food.
yeah,
Those are some of the challenges. For example, some students we into adult for India, for example, they complain of there are certain food they
yeah.
are not used to. You know.
That's what I was coming to. I grew up in Liberia, named out to be Pacific. I love my GB. And then I left, I went in there to go to school. Man, something that people will bring. Okay, let's forget about India. Right here in America,
Mhm.
for instance, Liberia or in Africa, when we're discussing proteinous food like meat, we expect it to be prepared and have that kind of salt-like taste. It should be kind of salty.
Mm.
If you fry egg, we expect you put some salt in it to give it that flavor or taste. But here, you will go buy a chicken and it tastes like you add sugar to it. Imagine that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
People eating egg, you see the eye, they get something called sorrel. It look like honey. It's kind of sweet too. Then it add sorrel to egg. I mean, imagine. Sometimes it's good to explore to kind of try a different thing. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's actually fun. But then continuously doing it where it's not your style, your way of life, it becomes boring and it starts creating a problem. But if you are doing it for fun, I mean, it's kind of relaxing, it's comfortable. But if you are doing it habitually, and that is not your style, your way of doing things, you might adapt to it, but there would be a problem right there. So full challenge, which are categorically summarized as economic challenge in general for international students, is one of the major problems. Source of income. If you want to leave Liberia to travel outside, you should have a good source of income to keep you stable and focused on what you went for.
So, do you also believe that studying abroad change have any change on individuals with respect to global or their understanding on global issues as compared to just studying in your environment?
Or it depends. What's your field of study? What are you studying? Diversification will come in somehow and play some parts. Like naturally, once you leave Liberia, you go out there some way, somehow, you are exposed to at least two different society, and you know how both society work, which is an added advantage in life in a long term. But basically, it's based on what you said. Like when it comes to maybe looking at intercultural, I mean, interstate relations, that might depend on your field of study. Like maybe you're doing international relation or international business or something like that. But nursing will always be nursing. Anything related to medical will always be what it is. Maybe the teaching, the approach will be kind of slightly different, but medicine will always be medicine. 1 plus 1 will always be 1 plus 1, whether in Liberia, in Europe, in Germany, America. 1 plus 1 will always be 1 plus 1.
Okay, but it just matter of the approach.
Yeah, sometimes the approach, but besides some of those broad courses that is well known to the world, like the science related courses that have been theoretically proven and tested for political science and subject related to state interaction might be slightly different, and maybe something relating to economics, but the basic principles will always be the same.
Okay. So looking at the advantage of studying abroad, what advantage do you think it has when it comes to studying abroad? Because many go to study abroad with not the intention to stay but to come back to their environment. So what advantage it has that you study abroad, coming back to Liberia, for example?
A country like Liberia, I don't want to say it doesn't have advantage, and I don't want to say it has advantage. It's just in the middle, kind of lukewarm. Because 90% of students who left Liberia to study outside, some of them come back to the country and they still don't have a job.
Okay.
Maybe 10% will come back and get a job. But if you look at it statistically, students who stay in Liberia and go to school, they are more opportune somehow to get a job compared to students who travel outside to get bachelors.
Why
Because
do you
in
think so?
school in Liberia, you build your network, you build your influence, you build connections, compared to maybe for an example could be I graduated from Ghana Methodist. I just left Right after graduation, I went to India to go to school. I ain't got no connection in Monrovia. I know getting a job should be based on what you can do, not connection, basically, but not our country that you and I know and everyone else know. Some way, somehow, you got to be connected, you got to be recommended, and you need that. And it is not only job, but life in general. We need a connection. We need our personal network, our channel to flow in life. So if you ask me for my earnest opinion, I would recommend that if you have the opportunity, do your bachelor's program in Liberia. When the opportunity comes, go out there and do your master. But for bachelor's, I would highly recommend staying in Liberia, building your network, setting out your connection channel. And then when you go out there now and get your master, when you come back to blend into society, it will be easier than just leaving Liberia, go out there, do bachelor's, do master,
So come back.
and come back to Liberia. When you come back to blend into the society, will be kind of challenging.
From your experience, from where you are, for example, how is it like? Is it that when you graduate, for example, graduating as an IT personnel, is there any possibility of government providing you job? For example, as a citizen of the US, you there, you go to school, and right after graduation, you get job to do. And if that happens in America, for example, how do you think that could also happen in Liberia? What recommendation could you put forth?
America, number one, government is not just providing job like that to anybody.
Okay.
Private institutions build their businesses and things that provide job for people. You graduate from school, if you are lucky, you apply and you get accepted to work right away. You're lucky, you're good. Sometimes people graduate from school to go 3, 4 years in search of a job.
Okay.
Sometimes you graduate and while you started in school is not what you even doing
So
as a job.
basically similar things in Liberia is also being experienced there.
Yeah, like every society have their own challenges, but two of the basic field that if you do something actually in school, somehow you get something to do here. You look at medicine, anything relating to medicine, whether nursing, doctor, whatever relating to the medical sector, you get something to do.
Okay.
And computer, because of how rapidly this particular technology is developing and evolving days after days, somehow you will get something to do.
Okay. So let me take this break and we'll come right back. So folks, if you're just joining us, this is Wake Up Call on Blaze Radio 90.7. We are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can also find our online radio. But I take words from our sponsor. This program is sponsored by the Sinan Group. Sinan Group Limited. They are involved with water drilling, pumps installation, and they do a whole lot. But let's hear from them and be right back.
Hey, have you heard of Sinan Group Limited? Well, Sinan Group Limited is a reliable and efficient water drilling expert. Sinan Group Limited specializes in deep borehole drilling, pump installations, and water system maintenance to ensure you have access to clean and sustainable water anytime, anywhere. Services we offer include water well drilling and installation, site assessment and planning, detailed evaluation of potential drilling site. We carry out installation of well casings to prevent prevent contamination, gravel packing to stabilize the well, and proper sealing to maintain water quality. We also conduct pump tests and other evaluations to determine the capacity and sustainability of the water source. We recommend and install appropriate pump systems such as submersible or jet pumps. We connect the pump to the overall water supply network, including storage and distribution systems. We also do scheduled maintenance and prompt repairs to ensure optimal performance and longevity of the pump system. We carry on inspection and evaluation of older or underperforming wells to identify issues such as casing damage.
That's not all. At the Sina Group Limited, we do systematic collection of water samples from various points in the supply system. Ensures compliance with health standards and confirms portability. We provide expert guidance on water supply system design, including optimal well placement, pump sizing, and integration with local infrastructure. The Sina Group Limited manages the full life cycle of water projects, from initial assessment and design to execution and post-installation support, ensuring projects are delivered on time and within the budget. With our cutting-edge technology, we utilize the most advanced drilling equipment. The Sina Group Limited trusted clients include UC, US Embassy, GRZ, and many more. Contact us today at our regional office near Zone 3 Police Station, Boulevard, Congo Town, Liberia, or call us 0777 393 950 or 0888 or email us at info@sinagroupltd.com. Visit our website www.sinagroupltd.com.
Oh my way, I like I see they go, baby, I like I see they go.
Hello, I'm Sekou K. Kamo, a patriot of the motherland, Mama Liberia. I will be speaking to the consciousness of my fellow youths on the topic patriotism. The progress of our nation rests upon the shoulders of every youth. What is your intention to this nation? Are you willing to serve the motherland with integrity and dignity? Or are you interested in inflating the maximum exploitation for one own selfish gain? Look, fellow youths, there should be no boundaries in actualizing the highest law for our country once we are called to service. The biggest problem facing our country is not the lack of good laws. It is not the lack of resources, not the lack of educated men or women, but the lack of law for country. I want you to know this, fellow compatriots. Where there is no love, there is lack of progress. The motherland depends not on herself, but you and I to make it a better place for generations to come. Everyone has a role in this process, ranging from the common man to the nobleman. It is time we examine ourselves. It is time we put our country first above everything else. Other nations are moving forward, but as one of the oldest independent nations in Africa, where is our achievement? We help in the elaboration process of other nations. These nations are moving forward, while our nation is stagnated from all spectrums of reality. Or because patriotism has been neglected at the highest goal in our society. Liberia is a blessed nation, given to us by God. But we will not realize these blessings if we do not cherish this nation. Fellow youth, it is time to change the course of history. You have the power, and that power is your choice. To choose if you will be loyal to this country through your services. Never give up on the motherland. I believe Liberia will someday rise above nations. The only road to this revelation is love.
Indeed, it's love. And that love will only come from you as a patriot. So you earlier listened to the Sinan Group Limited and our proud sponsor. So you can also do the same if you have your businesses, your organization, and wanting to sponsor this platform. You can sponsor this program. We will be on the obligation to promote you every time on the show. And you listen to Sekou. I love Sekou motivational message. He is the founder of the Greater Love Humanitarian Foundation. He goes about providing motivations for the less privileged, those you refer to as Zoku or other people. And so I always love playing this on the show because it has some impact to some extent. So welcome back to the program. This is Wake Up Call on Blaze Radio 90.7 with me, Archie Bobby. And we have Derek Doma is our guest today. As we leave politics, to discuss education and its impact. So before we go to the phone, I will have a few questions before we activate the phone lines that you will ask him some questions. He's also in a readiness to answer you some of those necessary questions you will ask or inputs you want to make on the platform this morning. So keep tuned and don't go anywhere. So Jerry, welcome back.
Thank you.
And before we just go to the phone lines, there is this question I want you to address. Do you think political influence plays on the educational system, or what impact does it have on students outside of Liberia as compared to your country? Because looking at the political impact on the education.
So, for instance, where am I right now?
Mhm.
What I do know is separation of power, where everyone know where their power starts
And where it ends.
and where it ends. Separation and limitation of power. Like the federal government, they have nothing to do with education. The state is tasked with the responsibility to provide education, to provide security. The federal government print money, declare war, and do other things. So, if we can have a system in Liberia where we understand not just a system, but we actually understand the separation of power and the limitation of power, it would be good for us. Because if we have that system, you will not find another person or another branch of government getting involved into another branch of government or telling them how to do their duty. But if you don't have a kind of structured system that people follows, where everyone think they know everything, and at the end of the day, I mean, Liberia right now, looking at Liberia, looking at politics, we are looking at a country that is into the state of anarchy, where people have a kind of potency that the strongest shall survive. The well connected
Mhm.
will survive. At the end of the day, they will have the final say. And we should not be like that. We got to understand separation of power. For instance, coming back to what happened a couple of days ago. In this country, if you even a senator or whatever, you are not supposed to be drunk and driving. If you are drunk, the police pull you over, whether you governor or you senator, brother, just pray it should not be a weekend like a Friday. Because you go
Because
Friday,
Spain
you
that be
go Saturday, you go Sunday, Monday before you go to court. So you made 3 good days in cell once you are above the alcohol limit. So it's not who you are, what you do. No,
okay.
the law is the law.
Okay. So what could be your overall recommendation? Your overall recommendation in general, as with respect to the educational system of your country, Liberia, because after all, you go abroad, acquire all of the education, you will still have the vast majority of the population acquiring their education here.
I know. And I hope to come back someday to impart some of the knowledge that God will help us acquire.
That which is good.
So the first thing the first recommendation I would do to anybody in the educational sector is we got to do a system analysis. You know, one of my favorite questions in life actually is why, WHY. Because why actually give you the deeper understanding of how things happen. If you ask yourself why, you get a kind of deep understanding of how things happen. So if we can start to analyze why these things, why our educational sector is this way, before we come to how can we fix it, it will be better. But we should not just focus on how can we fix it, and we don't know why it is happening, but we just want to fix it. The common example I will give you is, for instance, if you have a house and you have a running water in your house, and all of a sudden you just saw water on your floor, you will not just go about wiping that water off the floor. Actually,
Oh
you will
yeah,
want to know.
the
You will
source.
want to know the source of the water, where that water is coming from. So if you know where that water is coming from, you will know how to approach that problem, resolve it before you even come to mapping the floor. But if you just decide to map the floor without knowing where that water is coming from, by the time you are done mapping, the next 10, 15 minutes, the floor will be all watery again. So we got to start trying to understand the root cause of our problem. We should not just focus on a temporary solution, because if you focus on the how, you get a temporary solution to the problem. But if you focus on why, you get a permanent solution to the problem. So one of the things I would recommend to anybody in educational sector in Liberia, maybe why students are performing poor, why the educational sector in general is down, is not performing the way it's supposed to be, we got to do a system analysis,
Okay.
maybe a survey, to get to understand why the system is this way. So if we know why the system is this way, then we can come down to how can we resolve the system. We already know the system is this way because of SYD. So how can we resolve this problem? But we should not just be focused on how can we resolve without knowing why.
Okay. That's great. That's great. It's very great. So, folks, you listen to Derek. We will now activate the phone lines. We will listen to you. If you are listening, you have any input. Perhaps you want to ask him some questions that I did not ask. You can also ask those questions. He has the time to answer them. If you also want to make input on the program, yes, you are also welcome. Because, like I always told you, on this platform, we create the avenue for everyone. Not every day we discuss politics. Oh, your lawmaker Diesel, your senator Diesel, your president Diesel. Sometimes we provide this education so that you can also, because your children leaves from here, they go to India, China, and other countries, and there are challenges they face with. But you only look at the brighter part of it. You only look at the good side of it, and you are not that far sighted to know what will become of the aftermath when challenges are faced ahead, how they could resolve those challenges. So, Blaze Radio woke up call with me, Archie. You can call us on 0777 907 907, 0887 111 and the female line 0778 or you are watching on live on Facebook, YouTube, and you want to call on WhatsApp +231 888-57-7750. Those are numbers you can call to be a part of the program. Uh, this is not politics, so obviously we expect you to call because it's like he said, the issue of problem solving. Every time we say, "Oh, we want the education system to be better," like former president said, it's a mess. How can we eradicate the mess and go to best? But first of all, are we thinking on why it is a mess? And if you know why it becomes a mess, then definitely the question of how can we change this from mess to best will be now the order of the day. And when that how is found, automatically the problem becomes solved. And when it's resolved, it is permanent, not just temporarily. But if you just focus on how and not seeing the why aspect of it, then it becomes just temporary. And tomorrow you again ask, well, what is the problem? How are we getting here again? And those questions, they are unnecessary. So 07779079070, 07779079070, 887-111-107, and plus 231-888-577750, the WhatsApp number, and the female line 778-075616 are the numbers to put you through. So we take a few words on our sponsor again, and we'll come back. We activate your lines, and I know it's good that you have your children. They are going to school outside of Liberia, and some of those challenges, some of those he explained, you don't know that they are going through them, because all you know that life is okay, they're going to school, and it's good that you know about what happened to them. But let's get this from the Sinat Group as our sponsor. They also do machinings. They operate your generators, your vehicles, change your oil, create threads when they are damaged, repairs your engines, and does maintenance on your vehicle, the machines. Let's get this.
Are you having problems with your car engine and looking for the repair shop? Look no further. The Sina Machining Solutions are here to solve all your problems. At Sina Machining Solution, we specialize in comprehensive machine services. We do manual tuning, milling, fabrication and reconditioning of crankshaft, camshaft, and valve stems. We also do drilling, boring, and reaming. Our precision drilling of oiled galleries, coolant passages, mounting points, restoring the worn passages in cylinder heads and engine blocks will keep your machine running smoothly. Sina Machining Solution. Our shops are staffed with professionals. Our greening and service preparation, polishing, and smoothing will give your machine ultimate sealing and fit. But that is not all. Sina Machining Solution has welders who will make your metal fabrication, repair cracks, and make custom brackets using the manual arc welding techniques. If the threads on your machines are damaged, do not worry. We create new threads, restore all damaged threads, and retake. We also do custom modification to suit the local operating condition, adjust fuel quality and ambient temperature. Once we have completed your job, we will inspect and measure the services using our precision instruments and implement a rigorous quality control process to ensure safety and performance standards. We are not letting you go just yet. We have to make sure your heating and surface handling are taken care of.
Visit us near Zone 3 Police Station, Tottenham Boulevard, Concord Town. For more information, you can call us on +231 777 393 950 or +231 888 701 391. You can also send your email to info@sinagroupltd.com or www.sinagroupltd.com, all in small letters.
Come now and visit us. When you are satisfied, we are satisfied, and everyone goes home smiling.
Indeed, the Sinan Group Limited is our sponsor. So you listen to that jingle, they are involved in so many things. So, like I said earlier, this is not politics. So obviously, you will not have people trooping in with cause and other things, but those are necessary things that you need to make recommendation to. You listen to some things that we said, and perhaps you can recommend to your government. For example, all of these things we are talking about borders around fundings. Does the government of Liberia has adequate budget for education? How can we settle those problems that your children will not be going to rushing to go India, for example, only because they want to go to school, rushing to go Rwanda? Go right here, Rwanda, our neighboring African country. If you check now, you have close to 5% of the populations running to Rwanda to go to school. You have a lot of Liberians in Kigali going to school. Have you found out why are they there? Because they feel that the system there is not here. But how can the system be here so that Liberians will not be roaming about and so forth? 0777 907 907, 0777 907 907, 887 111 107. So we await your calls to, and yes,
So
you want to say something?
what while we are waiting calls, let me just say this.
Let me,
I was telling somebody today,
somebody's on
Aji.
the line. Somebody's on the line. People on the line, on the two lines. Let's get this side from the female. Good morning, Nancy Johnson.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good and welcome.
Yeah, I will first of all congratulate your guest because he has said all. I think I said it twice here that before you solve problem, you got to know the root cause of the problem before you solve it. So if you don't know what is causing the problem, you will find it difficult to solve the problem because you don't know what causing that problem.
Okay.
So for me, I can be thinking, why is it that we should be running out for medical care? Why is it that our children should be leaving, going to another countries for education? So you think the way in which the people put their system into place, the way in which they arrange theirs, that we are running after them, we can do the same here. We can do the same here. But the people, they are not thinking about such a thing. So I don't know if they can say that and think and say, but I think I will be able to try my possible best to make it different, that our children will no longer leave from Liberia to go. When the children goes out there, sometimes they can find it difficult. When it comes to food, when it comes to support, you are a woman, you took care of your child in high school and the child is leaving, you don't really have the money to be supporting the child will find it difficult over there. So, there's a boy in this community I've been doing for the past 13 years now. The little boy struggle, that better guy in struggle. One old lady took care of him, yeah. So the boy got the opportunity and travel. He told me, say, oh, internet, say, I'm going to China to come back. The little boy went and spent 4 years. And he came. And I always asking him, but Elijah is in now. You know, get little thing to do. No, internet say, no, internet say, so why is it you should go out and spend 4 years and then you are here, there is no job? So what will encourage our other children that have not gone there to say, yes, myself, I can go to come and make it different. Okay. So the leader of the nation, let it try to change things. If we can get somebody that will think that way, to change things for things to be easier for us, because as for me, if my child is going to school in Liberia here, I know how to look for money, how to search around to help that child, but out there maybe I may find it difficult. Okay. So you have to know the root cause of the problem before you solve the problem. So that they try their possible best for us.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. It is Esfogant Jones.
Go ahead. What is your name? And make your point.
Yeah, my name is Esfogant Jones from Finland, RIS.
Okay.
Yeah, just in the studio, yes. I want to know, or I want to ask him to try to recommend to our people in the house there, because the way he learned and he tried to explain a whole lot of good things to us, some of we are interested to go out to study. But our people that in the house there, what they do to us is not correct. To do some recommendation there. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear brother.
Morning. What is your name and where you call from?
My name is Paul Dion. I do come from Grand Bazaar, the 35.
Grand Bazaar Electoral District 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you this morning for the discussion.
Okay.
But it's a unique survey that someone had to study skill of very active. My brother, I want to thank you this morning before I go ahead with my own presentation. Why you are saying it makes sense. Sometimes when I sit, I can ask myself, and Liberia a lot, what is the education that we are acquiring to change our nation? Because when you look, we got so many educated people in this country. But what is education bringing back to us? Look at us today as a nation.
Okay.
We're not here to schedule our own education problem. People living from here, going in another country to come with us that degree. Why we can't rerun our own education system? And then everything about us. Why we can't think? How we can solve it before looking for the solution? I mean, to solve the problem.
Okay.
As a nation, we're just thinking how to go out there to go learn, how to carry some of the hospital. And we're not able to do it for ourselves here with all the resources we have, with educated people there. So what are we? What were we thinking on? What really we thinking about? I'll call you like this. So thank you, my brother.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the program.
Thank you. 0777907907887 887 This person on the low star line. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Archie.
Morning, Joseph Tamba.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks to your online guest this morning for their splendid discussion and information, more especially concerning education. But actually, let me also appreciate you that you got another different trend this morning. I hope one of these days you call agriculturalist also explain to us in detail how they also works. That is very important. It will not always be politics. I love the trend you also took this morning.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it so much. Learning also has advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages will be the adaptation of foreign language, the adaptation of foreign culture, the adaptation of foreign art. More especially, if you learn in foreign countries, it's important you'll get the people it has value. But the application of it to Liberia is difficult because, for instance, Barachi, if you happen to go to China and learn, you're going to learn Chinese policies. You're not going to teach you Liberian policy. No. If you goes to India, they're going to teach you the Indian policy, not the Liberian policy. Then if it comes to Liberia, it does not apply to our system. That's why at times you go out, you learn, and we come back, it's not applicable in Liberia. You know, for me, I was opportune. I took an advantage. I went in UAE, I learned security. I did advance. But now if it comes to Liberia, I find it very difficult because if you're not connected to the top class or the first class people to get you connected to what you learn, it's difficult because Liberia now to get job, you have to be politically connected. You have to be strong. You have to get someone to put you through the system. So I want to encourage our brother out there. It's important. I love the challenges because there are a lot of challenges out there. Living outside Liberia is fine, but they have some tough challenges, very tough one. So I do appreciate them so much for the time and the bonus. I want to encourage them. One of these days, they shall come back to contribute to the economy of our country. They will come back to change the system. One day we believe the system will be changed. Thank you this morning.
Thank you, Joseph Tama. 07779079070 088 7111107. The female line 778 075616. WhatsApp +231 888 Call, ask your necessary questions, make your points, and we respond to them at a later time. So yes, you were saying something, D, and I think it is into one of the
So
callers here asked question.
can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
So as I told somebody today, I and somebody talked from Liberia today. For instance, if we look at the University of Liberia, we look at the student organization on that particular campus. One of our key problems in that country is strategies. We don't know how to strategize. For instance, if you look at the student political party on that campus, SUP,
Yeah, so you just brought my attention to that. Yeah.
right? From time immemorial, our approach as students, once you join a university, you start affiliating with SUP.
Let me take this international call. Good morning.
Good morning, Ashi. How are you?
I'm good, Fred, and welcome. How is your end this morning?
Mine is doing very well.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, I think you're having a very good conversation this morning, especially as it relates to education. I think we make a lot of mistakes in Liberia. First thing, I want to disabuse the minds of Liberians that foreign education is not important because you don't have jobs. Now, what we have in Liberia is a systemic issue. Now, if you have a very foundational education, if you go places like China, for example, the application of chemistry all across the world is the same. Now, the application of government might not be the same. Now, so if you are going to China, for example, and you want to learn public policy and governance, you cannot go and take subjects that relates to Chinese culture or Chinese governance process. There will be a topic, for example, or a course on international governance. Now, that international governance is applicable to Liberia. How that apply? It means that, for example, you could find a job within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that will be able to help you. So, what we have in Liberia is that we have an issue where we are not making use of our education system, and those that are responsible for the education system are not managing it in a proper way. For example, now I like to bring you back to the issue of the House of Representative. We have 103 lawmakers, right? 73 representatives and 30 senators. Now, each of those lawmakers have 15 staff. Now, all of those staffs within the House of Representatives or the Senate, that none of the lawmakers have a staff on legal affairs, for example. Now, mind you, in Liberia, we have the Louis Arthur Gray School of Law. Now, but if all of the 103 lawmakers have political officers, so now you can see why everything in Liberia is all about politics. Because everyone is focusing on politics and not focusing on the law.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So if for example,
if I can understand, Fred. If I can understand. If for example, each of the 103 can have education officer, for example, in their office, or education advisor, for example, in their office.
They will understand what they need to do on education, because the education officer will go and review the education laws and realize where there is issue and why those laws need to be amended. Okay. If each of them have, for example, legal officer or legal research officer, the legal research officer will be advising them, for example, on changes to the law and what the implications might be for the future. So then they will look at that advice and make the arguments on the floor. But all of the lawmakers go and debate. They don't understand why they are debating, for example, because they don't understand the legal issues. And so that's the reason why you have someone like the chairman now on rules and order for the majority black, but be acting like he understands the entire law when he's not. We do not. And that's the problem we have in our country. It applies across all of the sectors, whether it is health, whether it is education, whether it is mining, and all of the sectors. Because we are not putting use people who have the skills. If, for example, some of the color mentioned people go overseas and study. Now, if you go overseas and study, most of the people who go overseas and study have a contract, for example. It says that if you go overseas and study and you return back, the government will provide you job opportunities. Now, but these people who return back home are not provided job opportunities. They are rather given a desk, for example, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to play Zuma. Now, if you are playing Zuma, how are you going to apply your skills? You're not going to apply your skills because you don't know exactly, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the tools to be able to deliver your skills. And that's the fundamental problem we have in our country.
Okay. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you so much, Archie.
Thank you. He's Fred. He calls from Australia, and he always one of the ardent international follower of this program. So 07779079070 0887 Make your point at 6 o'clock. We come to the end of this show to this weekend as we go for our normal weekend break. So do you just continue? You were saying something.
So, as I was saying, right, I was talking about strategies. And then I said, the common example could be the student organization on the University of Liberia campus. Actually, if you follow the history of SUP from time immemorial till now, their only approach to concerns that battle students have been radicalizing, protesting, throwing racks, counter reaction to government. But the question is, how have that particular approach resolved the problems students face? From the time SUP came into existence till today's day, their major approach has been radicalism. This is about time we start to think outside the box. We start to strategize new ideas. Look, gentlemen, this country only know us to be violent students. They only know us to be protesting out there. But this time around, we are not going in the street. We are not going to take it this way. But this is how we're going to go about doing this thing. Have they done that? So sometimes our approach to things, we should not just keep doing one thing over and again.
And you expect different results.
Yeah. And you know, when it comes to the traveling issue, right? I told somebody today again. I said the America would want to come to the China, the France, and all the other countries we dream of to go. They were not miraculously created in heaven and just descended to earth.
Let's get this call, D. Let's get this call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. What is your name?
It's Marvin William calling from Cowell.
Cowell. Go ahead.
Yeah, even though it's not a far discussion, but I want to bring something to the attention as a journalist.
What is it?
We are facing fewer problems in Cowell from the water settle about the coin. People are denying the coin. They doesn't want to hold the coin. The problem we face in Cowell with all the water settle, and we sell water. Water is $5.
Okay.
For the coins to get out when they come, they refuse it. So they say when they carry the coins to the bank refuse it. So that's serious problem going on with us.
So thank you. I'm getting your number. I will call you and we'll talk about that. It's a serious issue. It actually needs to be discussed because I don't think they should be rejecting. I don't think even the bank will be rejecting the coins because the coin is the national money. It's a currency, so you can't reject that. So thank you for that concern.
Okay, that's my number there.
Okay. 077790790 887-111-107 plus 231-888-577750 is our WhatsApp number. Is our follower on YouTube, on Facebook, on our online radio. You also use that to call us. And the female number 778075616. We yes, D, just continue.
So as I was saying, those countries that we really young to come to, that we can't sleep, we pray day and night to have the opportunity to come to, they were not created miraculously in heaven and just descended to earth. Those countries have had their dark days, far worse than what we even went through in Liberia. Far, far worse. If you look at America history, you look at the Gilded Age. There is a history of America called the Gilded Age. If you follow the Gilded Age, and you get to understand how things happen in America, when America was being industrialized, what happened to workers? Then you get to understand that those countries, they were not just what they are today from Genesis. They started somewhere, they had some challenges, they passed through some things and to get to where they are. Take the very China, for example. When Mao Zedong was in power in China, you know how many people died because of a wrong policy he introduced to agriculture that led to starvation in China?
Okay.
But those are other discussions for another day. But I'm just trying to tell Liberians that it is not actually what we think. The picture we have when we are not outside Liberia is far different from what is outside here. In reality,
what is the actual thing? It's very, very far. Okay. So folks, you can call us on 077790797. Call, make your point 0887 111 Call to make your points if you want to recommend. So somebody asked about one of the questions they call us asked about recommendations. Yeah, to the lawmakers, he was specific. Well, like, but he was not that to the point as to what is education recommendation. But we are talking about education. So to the lawmakers, he's asking, what can you recommend?
So the problem of Liberia, from my perspective, from how I perceive it, is not basically the lawmakers. Because if we start to understand ourselves as Liberians and know what we want, I'm sorry to say this, but let me be honest with you. I don't think many of us in Liberia actually know what we want.
And that's just a reality.
So the change got to start with us before we even go to those people are elected people. We elect them. So if we start understanding what we want and start taking different approaches to things, like I said, different strategies. Time immemorial, our election, if you follow election in Liberia, it has always been the same process. If we start engaging differently, looking at things from different angles, discussing issue at a broader perspective, not just a narrow path.
We lost this call. You can call back. Continue.
Then we start redefining things. We start to put our acts together. Then transformation start coming in.
Okay. So the problem is not the lawmakers. So the thing is that oh God, please don't beep, caller.
I know some people will come and say the lawmaker this, the lawmaker that. But we made those people. It's just like Achi. They are the result of our bad decisions.
Sure.
That's how I would term them.
Because
they are the products. They are the products of our decision.
Let me get this call. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Martha Melly.
Okay. Call from where?
Yes. From Feniel Highway.
Feniel Highway. Go ahead.
Yes, they could stop it under discussion. Yeah, you see, my brother, all of these things people yawning because of the society is not up to the task when it comes to these various things in our country. The government should negotiate with these people that are giving the scholarship for people to come to the country and teach our children. They stop poverty striking. Some people can't even have food. But because our system is not in place, some people even go to the extent to credit to send their children out of the country. Why not negotiate with the people for them to send one or two persons to these various countries? They open an institution here and give the students the opportunity at scholarship to attend school here. They will be free to ask their question as they are faced with a problem in their country. Let them graduate, and being that they admin that have been registered to these schools and the campus.
Yeah, just go continue.
Far away from them. Send them to the institution for them to get better education, and it will fit in our scenario because they are seeing things that they have faced with. It will be better that way. But you send them out, the country does not have money. The people, if the country is poor, obviously, if one rich man here says it will not meet the target for the other people who do have. But because of the frustration, people go out of their way, they send their children out of here. They send them there with the hope of them coming when they come back, no job. So it even creates more problems. That's why I appreciate the education minister. She's trying her best. And when these questions come out, I think we should say into these various ministries that are involved so they too can look at them. I'm sure they're hearing, but some people, because you don't address the issue directly to them, they will just hear and just crash it. So these are some of the things we should be telling. When you people come on a top show, this leads to the various ministries that are involved, the education ministry, as you said, or foreign affairs. For education ministry, the woman is some type of thing, but she need other people to buttress that effort. So instead of sending them there, we don't have money to even eat them, we gotta look for food. They say everything. Why India is good, so they will come here instead of taking our money away. We already pull them, we take the money and go get to different people. Say we send children to.
Thank you so much. I think she make a good recommendation. 778075616. 77790. We lost the caller. 0777 907907 0887 11107. D, just go ahead.
So, as I was saying, right? Those lawmakers, they are the end results of our decisions. Because there's no way an individual will just walk up to the House of Congress and say, I'm a lawmaker. They have to be elected. And how are they elected? We decide.
By the citizen, yeah. The citizen. You go, you stay in the rain, the sun. Campaign for them.
They are the reflection of us. So now you're getting my point. If I say the problem is us, and we need to start with ourselves first. Because those people in there are the reflection of us. Who elected them? Who gave them the power? Who made them what they are? They didn't just walk up there and become representatives or senators. We make them.
Okay.
Who are they representing?
Let me get this caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Rosada from Ghana.
Okay, welcome, Rose.
How are you, welcome? Me appreciate get the money.
Okay.
Like you said, I listen to the fellow from Australia. I normally call on the talk show. For me, I go with the studio saying the parent of like normally I always say on your platform, the lawmaker, the 73 people that we elect, along with the 30 and
Senators.
elder, like they said, they are elder of the legislature, but they are not. They are only there to use us when it comes to election. We elect them to go into that own thing. So they got opportunity over there, but they only gave it to the immediate family. And you, the common person who have believed in them, you serve in them, they don't give you that opportunity to go and sell it. So one of the callers said that we need to build something here. How can we build something when the legislature is receiving 45,000 car after every season they buying car for them 2 times, I think 2 or 3 times in a year.
Twice
in
a
a
year.
season they be focusing. So why would the common people stand? And one thing that he said that really made sense when it comes to the University of Liberia, like Sue. Sue is only being used to promote certain group of people. Sue was here we started all the year in chasing and minister for on the campus. But today, when Sue go to go protect, you have people beating on them. So the only cast on the throw rat, they chose to the cause not. Sue has never been known for doing the possible thing, but always doing the negative thing. So I agree with him. He make a lot of sense. The legislators, our parents, their country parents is the legislator, especially when it comes to the Congo ball, the message one that we are elected and declaring the Congo people who are trying to put in this that the common man can benefit as they were. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Rosetta. Yeah, so folks, we left with a little 10 minutes, so you can call and make your contribution. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning. What is your name?
I'm Joseph G. Williams, calling for Ravi with VOA.
VOA. Go ahead.
Chief, I love the topic on discussion this morning. Like, I listened to all the viewer call up. Liberia problem derived on 2 sources. Number 1, we the citizens, we the problem for our very self. 2, our lawmakers. We take our personal time, we elect them as lawmakers. Look at me, I'm a student, so since I graduated from high school, we stay sitting here and we've got lawmakers for this reason. Some adults, we only sitting there in region itself. There is no scholarship form. There is no scholarship. Every time you go around, there's always a thing. We have you have all the lawmakers here. I have James Bani with me in my community. I have Honorable Maggie with me in my community. I have Honorable Jivon Smith with my community.
You get all the BB men in your community.
All of them, even the vice president live around me.
Okay.
My uncle live around me. But they are not supporting the country. Their problem is there to enrich themselves, and they are very greedy in me to the citizens, to be real.
Okay.
Even though we the citizens, we are the number one. Like these days, we are our fellow friends that go to school. They don't want to say it too because they even getting weak for school that day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Let's get Fred is back on the line. Fred, good morning.
Yeah, Yeah, good morning, Archie. Just one quick point in relation to what the previous caller mentioned. You see, one of the problems we're talking about here, for example, is that the reason why the government does not feel that it has an obligation to create jobs. And the reason why they don't feel that sort of urgency is because that they are not paying students' fee, for example. Because if you are paying students' fees and students have to pay you back on the basis of what they earn, then you'll be able to create jobs. But because you're not creating jobs, and students not paying you back, once you pay your fees, actually go to school, actually pay his fees, actually graduate, who cares? No one.
Oh yes, what are you?
Exactly, but if Archie fee was being paid by the government, and the government knows that Archie have to get a job before Archie pays back, the government's going to create jobs. The government going to create jobs. But because the government is not doing anything for the people, and the people not doing, everyone doing their own thing, everybody, you have to struggle, your parents have to struggle, the man have to go sell bitter ball, you have to go sell pepper, you have to go sell fat color, you have to eat street fighter, all of these things before you get there. The government don't care. The reason why the lawmaker around 75,000 car, they don't follow the rule of law, they don't think, because but if they had that responsibility where Archie is taking a loan of 25,000, and Archie have to earn certain threshold before Archie pay back, of course, the government going to say, well, we must create job for Archie because we want the money back from Archie because Archie had to take 25,000 and Archie got to pay the 25,000 back on profit.
I think
and so that's the problem we have.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I just want to make that contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you. So I think DA was similar point you talk about the student loan. But let me get this caller before we come back. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. What is your name?
I'm Kiwan Tatla, living Rafi Highway.
Rafi Highway. Go ahead.
Yeah. My recommendation to the guests there, to our people in the hotel. Yes, right. If I don't mistaken, it would be wise with the city all they put together, or the president, to do an appointment for most of the senators represented because
people you elect. Hello, you elected them. You elected them. You got power over them. They behaving that they want to start appointing them.
Yeah, but what I'm looking at because in JJ Rawat time and Church was doing appointment at that time.
Okay.
So I think that would be the best way because we elected they get time for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. 0779079078887111107. They give you calls. D.
So quick to just respond quick to what the just in the call made. We cannot go back to appointing those people because you will be like a narrowing power to one branch of government and giving them full authority. So we cannot do that right now. Our focus is on the education sector, most especially students who are going out there to study. What are their challenges? What are some of the problems they are facing out there?
Let me get this caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
What is your name and where you come from?
Okay, I'm Joseph William again.
Okay.
Okay. I called to budgets or one caller who just called just now talking about the lawmaker to be a point.
Yeah.
And I 100% concur with that because I believe that electoral position, a position where you see the citizen go and stand online to vote for representative or senator. And there are 73 senators and there are 73 representatives and 30 senators. Trust me, how many people in the committee will be willing to go stand by on the line to sound about 100 plus or 1,000 plus senators to remove the representative? Nobody will get time for it. But if the president appoints you, trust me, so you do similar immediately you take even because the appoint is a position, it's not a pass seat. You can move on anytime.
Okay.
But if they move with you, no. That's 6 years we finish. The boy get patient to go back again. People just pay you or they say they're finished. So I 100% accept that order or some of my friends saying. I 100% concur with you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we don't have time now. We don't have time now. We're not accepting calls anymore. So we'll just allow D to respond to a few of the concern and we will conclude from there. Yeah, just continue now, D. Thank you for the call.
Yeah. So quickly to respond to that, right? This is why I say we should not look at things from a very narrow perspective. We should start trying to look at things from a very broad perspective so that our approach to issues will be different. Like if the last two callers right now just conclude my point that we are actually looking at things from a very narrow perspective. So if we go back to the age of appointing lawmakers, that is, we are actually giving the president the power to become king.
Yeah, the entire power, yes.
Yeah. So we are giving him the power to become king. And who knows? Our country might even be far worse than what we are facing right now. Because he will tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And if you cannot do it, you lose your job. So this is why we have to start looking at things from different angles. So like I earlier talked about separation of power, limitation of power, but those topics could be another day discussion. Our key focus here today is on education, most especially foreign
Yes,
students,
and
international students,
one thing,
what they face out there.
one thing Fred, the concern Fred raised was the issue of that they're saying student loan you talk about, because if the government is, for example, paying the fees of students, they give you their money, pay your school fees, knowing that you have to pay back. So if they cannot create
Yeah.
the avenue that you will get job to work and pay back the money, that means the government money will just be on you forever.
Oh yeah. That's one of that's a very fine point he raised. So if the government can adapt to these things, but these things also come with what capital resource. We need to have the resources before we can do these things. So we can start with the bare minimum. Like I said, from the earlier stage, my recommendations still remain system analysis, survey, do a survey, do system analysis, try to understand the various problems, try to know what is going on, why it is going on. So if you know the various problems, why these things are happening, and now you can come back to your drawing board. Okay, so these things are happening because of this. So how can we target these things? Then maybe the idea of student loan can come in, or maybe revamping the educational system, building good schools, or equipping or the one we already have, and maybe making some policies that will enforce or private schools to update their schools, because some of them they extract more money from parents, and the school is not even up to standard for students to learn. The facility is not even a place for people to learn. But if you listen to one school, you just feel so frustrated.
Okay.
So we got to do our system analysis. And for young students who aspire going out there to learn, it's good. I'm not discouraging you. But you got to think, and you have to have two plans, plan A and plan B. Yes, it's true. I want to go out there to learn. And I've heard a whole lot of good things about foreign countries. Maybe I'll get a job while I'm in school and this and that and that. But what if I get out there and I'm not able to work and go to school? What become of me? So you got to start asking yourself these questions before you even venture. Because sometimes the challenges can be very clear. You can even stay in abroad and start experiencing these problems before you even get out there.
But I think
you can
myself
process
experienced
your
that.
paper, everything.
But D, I think I experienced that. I had the opportunity to go in there. I think that I shared with you before. But I sat and I make the analysis. In fact, I'm here already. So I'm a university student, reached at the level of junior and dropped from school because I cannot afford my fees here in Liberia.
Okay.
Then what becomes of me going to India, for example, where there's no one paying my fees, where I have family back home that also depending on me, and for some financial assistance, and that burden is also there. So who do I tend to when I'm stranded for school fees, for example? So that means if you say, okay, Archie is paying 50% of his tuition, and I can afford for just a one semester, what becomes of the remaining semesters? So I just calculated and look at all of these things. I said, no, but I think it's necessary that I just let this opportunity go.
Yeah. You see, that was a very wise idea or decision you made. We should not be carried away by the current situation, or our ego to leave Liberia should not just drive us out there into something that is not necessary. It's good to travel. It's good to have all the experiences life brings through travel, but then you should travel with comfort, because it's better to be stranded in your own learn than to go out there and be stranded in next man learn.
Sure.
It's it's far better to suffer in your own land than to go in foreign land and suffer. You literally become slave.
Sure.
So we got to start adopting different approaches to things. We got to start looking at things from different perspectives, different angles, trying to talk to people from different walks of life who have had different ideas, different experiences, to try to understand things deeper and critically before we venture into them. If we can start doing that as young Liberians, I promise you, the next generation from now will not have a lot of these problems we are having today.
Sure.
We got to change our approach.
Okay. So D, it was wonderful. You can just conclude now. What's your final concluding statement?
So, like I have said already, we need to adapt to a new set of thinking. And if you ask me what would be that thinking, I would suggest to you critical thinking. We got to start learning to be strategists, because a strategist will always have a plan B, a new approach. You will not always have one way of doing things. Yeah. So he would be like, if I try this method, maybe I always use this route to go to my house, or I always enter my house through the front door. Why if I enter through my house from the back door today? What happens? They always want to know, try different methods to see what happened and which will work easier for them. That one approach, might not always work for you the right way. And it might not even be, it might be the problem for you. So we got to be a strategist. We have to start thinking critically.
Okay.
Trying to start analyzing things. We should not just be caring about what people say out there. Oh, come to India. When you come to India, you will get something to do. In fact, 50% scholarship. For me, I'll go back to my drawing board and define scholarship. What is scholarship? When it says scholarship, what it actually means.
What it implies.
Before I got to pay 50% scholarship. So we got to bring on new thinking.
Okay.
New approach.
That was good. It was good having you today on this. It was good having you on the show. We hope that some of those Fridays will always have you and other students and other people to always intersperse our conversation, because every time, yes, it's good to focus on politics and other national issues, but this is one of the cardinal national issues that we always love to discuss. So hope that you sometime be available for us.
Once it comes to Liberia, one way or the other, I will always be available. Like when that call came in tonight, I actually forgot that. I was like, oh damn. And because of time difference, I was thinking like Friday to my side where it will already be evening Friday. That's the time this conversation should have taken place. But then I gotta understand that in Liberia, it is right now in the morning. So when it is evening to my side, it will be Saturday to his side. So we just gotta get things going. But I'm open to discussion like this when it comes to discussion concerning business. What are some of the things young Liberians can do? Maybe people who are inspired to become entrepreneurs and things. Those are topics I'll be waiting to discuss. Sometimes we might discuss politics, but it might not be like the kind of Liberian politics. No, I won't settle for that. But we can discuss politics on a broader scale, maybe like functions of government, what is expected, like I talk about separation and limitation of power, right? If it is a kind of politics like that, maybe I can come in a little bit and give you my opinion on that. But when it comes to business, when it comes to education, when it comes to critical thinking, when it comes to things that would build young people's mind to make them look at things from a different perspective, from different angles, to look at the world from a high point of view, instead of just looking at it from the surface.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'm always open, and I'm always waiting to share my input to help improve Liberians.
Thank you. It was good. It was good being here. So, folks, you listened to him. He was our guest for today, and join us tomorrow. We hope that we always have people like him on the show so that we can intersperse our conversation. Again, today is Friday. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And we have had a lot over the week and we need to take a rest. We'll go for our usual weekend break today. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Archie Sebob Yene. And remember, don't trouble before trouble troubles you. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.